Hello team, it's Rich here. We are going to work out how to bowl the perfect Yorker. Ladies and gents, the Yorker. So where on earth did that term come from? Well, guess what? In England, Yorkshire, played a lot of cricket, wet wickets. They just ruined the game, didn't they? But I suppose it's quite a clever thing. We've adopted it and we've carried on with it. So it came from Yorkshire, the county of Yorkshire, of course. May even come from York itself. So bowlers from that particular area used to bowl full and straight, trying to restrict the runs. Typical Yorkshireman, eh? Anyway, so how to bowl it and what are we going to do? So there are two things, the two methods really that I've found, maybe even two thought processes, that I've found that have been particularly helpful to players. If you can think of any more or you've worked with any players and you've found other things be really useful, please leave them in the comment section below. We're always learning, so that's always useful. So the first one is to have a target. Come with me. We've got one down here. So we've got a target down that end. We've got two batters' feet. Generally speaking, we're looking to make it a restricting delivery where batters are either trying to do something or it's the end of the innings, so you've got a bit more context to it. Now, I suppose mostly you're going to see seam bowlers do this and not necessarily spinners, but it's a really good option for a spinner when a batter runs down the wicket and you're tying the ball up into their feet so they can't get underneath it or they struggle to play a bigger shot, so shall we say. And from that perspective, I think that's a really good ball. But yeah, you're right. Seamers are probably more likely to bowl it than spinners. So the first up, looking at your target or having a target. Now that sounds really simple, but I guess the next thought is, when do you look at this target? When does it change? Does it change? So for example, if as a spinner, as a batter runs down the wicket, your target changes because your object is moving, whereas normally a batter's going to stay where they are until you've let go. So you're going to start looking in one place and then you've got to be aware of the next place. So here we go. I'm just going to go straight up with, I'm looking at my two batters' feet, isn't it? Cool. So let's have a little look. I'm going to bowl a couple and just give you a bit of a walkthrough as to how I go about it. So starting off, get myself going. At the moment, I'm looking at the batter, but I've got a really good idea that they're likely to run down the wicket. You get a bit of a feel for these things. So I'm running up, thinking about the situation, just thinking about, okay, they might run down the wicket. I'm aware of it. Not going to place too much focus on it. Just going to be aware. I'm going to keep looking at that cone or those cones all the time. Oh. And a good start, I've hit them in front of the stumps and I've just kept looking at the stumps, apologies, the target all the time. So that was kind of what I'm looking at there. Now I made a really interesting point earlier, which is bizarre for me. I don't often do that. So we're going to come this way. So I said right at the very start, we look at our original point. Liverpool FC cone for those that are going to get interested in football. Different sports. Notice how we cross-pollinate here, don't we? Okay, so first up, I'm going to start thinking, I'm just going to bowl my good area and just make sure I'm about right there. Boom, yes. So I'm going to start here and then, yes, because the batter's moving down the wicket, I'm thinking, right, I'm going to change plan. When do I do that? So as I'm running up, I'm just thinking, right, this is the area that I want to bowl it. I know the type of ball I want to bowl. But then at some point, I've got to change my plan. Okay? So if you come with me, I'll talk you through when I'm likely to do that. You'll notice up there I've got a bucket of balls. It's like I've prepared for this a little earlier, isn't it? So here we go. So I'm going to go through my run-up. I'll go through slowly and I'll talk you through when I'm thinking about my change. So I'm going to run up here. I'm getting myself ready to bowl, and I reckon at about this point, the batter's starting to get a bit fidgety, or they're going to give away a bit of a clue. So from here, I'm going red cone, looking at red cone the whole time, and then at the last minute, I'm sliding across to my white cones. Now, you've just worked out that's actually quite a skillful thing to do, or quite a difficult thing to do. And all I would say to you is, it is. That's what bowling is. It is quite difficult. If the batter's quite good, we're going to have a tough time. Your challenge is to, first up, get good at bowling one ball. And if that one ball's your stock ball, brilliant, get good at that. The next thing you're going to get good at is, right, practice on a regular basis bowling that quicker Yorker. Get good at that. And then at some point, you've got to work on being able to adapt from your stock ball to your Yorker. And you've got to be able to do that in your run-up. Cool. It's quite a lot about target, wasn't it? Even, it's just one word, but my goodness, there was lots going on. Okay, so I've also decided to get funky. Come with me. You'll like this. Now, this is where you can start to get creative. Now, I think the England boys a little while ago had a bar, a wooden bar, that they would put down on the wicket, where what they would try and get underneath. So here you go, for one-day cricket, play around with a set of plastic stumps. Now, every club's got a set of plastic stumps, probably got 2 sets. Just put them together, have a little bowl underneath, see how you get on. I know you're asking me, I'll have a go too, come on. I might not be very good at this one. I don't think I've practiced this. Here we go. I'm feeling nervous. Going to go to a little half run up, just because I'm lazy. I know, comment section below, don't be nasty. Okay, so focusing on my target. Oh, I think I was all right. Hopefully the other camera shows me up, or shows me to be actually all right at this. I've only had one go, so don't think I've had lots. Okay, so that's your target. Get fun, get creative. Okay, so the next one is, well, as you can tell, it's a very visual thing. Your target changes from your stock ball to your Yorker, and then you've got to feel how the ball comes out your hands. So it's going to be slightly different. Your release points are slightly different. So come with me. We're going to wander across here. So all I'm going to do is bowl this way, and I've got to find out where that ball releases and comes out of my hand. So is it about just in line with my head? So I've got Nathan there on the camera, and he's going to tell me if I'm about right or not. He'll come out with a big shout or thumbs up. You might not hear him or see him. So I think I'm about in line with the head. Nathan's given me the big nod. Thank goodness for that, I've got it right. So my plan here is, have I let that go earlier? Now, I felt the answer was yes, and in a minute I'm going to see if I get the answer of a thumbs up as well. That one was different. That was slightly further forward. That was slightly further back. That's slightly further forward. He's given me the little nod again, so thankfully that's all right. Once I get used to picking and choosing the right release points, i.e. I get it right more often, and I've got a friend sort of helping out. And if you don't have a mate helping out, stick your phone down there, press play on and record it, and have a little bowl. Most of us have got phones, so it's pretty easy to do. And then you can have a little cross-check with yourself as well. So from that point, it's when I let go a little earlier, what type of flight do I create, and does it create that ball underneath the target or the bar, or does it hit the target? It'd be great if it did. We just need to see. Is it a quicker arm action that's going to talk about get a good release to create that Yorker? This one is, so this type of method of feeling the release point and feeling it changing is a long-winded process, but there's a lot of real good stuff in there. It will take time because it's a feeling thing. Anything where you have to feel the action tends to take time because you need to cross-check and get it wrong and get it right and keep checking it as you go along. So that's the first bit of introduction to it. One of the next bits I tend to do is this. So I come over here and I'm just going to bowl the ball, and we're going to get our cameraman to stay dead square on. And here all I'm going to do is just try and get a release point where I've let it go, and these are kind of going to be my normal ones, what I think are going to be my normal ones to create a Yorker. So I felt that to be slightly in front of my head. Now I kept my eyes open for that one, so this one I'm going to close my eyes and see if I can recreate that. I felt that might have been slightly earlier. The camera won't lie, by the way. I, of course, could lie badly. Okay, so now I'm going to try and close my eyes. Well, I can do that bit. I don't even need to try. But I'm going to see if I can release it a bit earlier so I can get the ball a bit fuller. Wish me luck. Eyes closed. Oh, yes, I did. I had a sneaky look, by the way, but that one felt slightly earlier. Hopefully it shows that on the camera, or I've got terrible self-awareness of my bowling arm and release point. So let's try that one again. Closing the eyes. Yeah, that one felt like, again, I let it go a little bit earlier. Oh, thank goodness for that. Cool. There have been some amazing Yorker bowlers over the last, well, quite a long time really, isn't it? Probably the last 30, 40 years with the advent of one-day cricket, with Wasim Akram, with Waqar Younis, with more recently with Lasif Malinga being incredibly good at. Umar Gul was incredibly good at bowling the Yorker. They also swung it as well. It's an incredibly useful thing to have in your toolkit as a bowler. I know predominantly more for the seamer than the spinner, but it is still an option for the spin bowler, and can definitely be used. Two little thoughts. First one was the first word, wasn't it? Target, one word. It's looking at the target, your ability to change from stock ball, Yorker, when the batter does something different. Practice is key with whichever methods you choose to go down. Feeling it and feeling your release point is really difficult. It takes time, it takes a lot of practice, it takes a little bit of filming, it takes a good mate that's going to give you some good answers and good feedback. If you've got one of those, you're going to be goods in. Cool. A lot going on there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you've got something out of it. I know that there's a lot to practice to really master that Yorker, but it can be done. We've seen it in world cricket. We've seen some good club cricketers do it. No doubt you can too. If you like the video, do give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channels. We look forward to hearing from you in the comments section below. All right, maybe I don't, but maybe we do. Suggest some other topics for us that you'd like us to cover. That's always useful. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.